You're in the way, and you like it like that. So I was in a meeting with a team last week, and there's a guy in the meeting, I'll call him Bob, and just in the first morning, Bob would look at his phone, and step out of the room. And it happened like 3 times just in the first morning of our meeting. So when we broke for lunch, I went to check with him. Everything okay? What's going on? And he just said, well, my team is checking in with me. And I said, oh, so they're calling you to ask them what they should do on, and they said, yeah. And I said, oh, okay, well, how do you feel about that? And he said, oh, I don't have any time. I can't even be in this meeting. And I said, well, then would you like to design a different way? Because it seems like you've designed it in a way that you're the expert problem solver for your team. And if you're not around, that they need to find you and so that you can tell them what to do. And he thinks that he's helping, but he's really not helping. Because what he's done is created a culture of dependency within his team and a culture of disempowerment. So he's become the logjam in being the expert problem solver. If he's not around, work grinds to a halt. And so I said, well, why don't we try to kick this problem solver habit and teach these baby birds that you've got there to fly on their own. So we talked about reframing his role, that his role isn't to be the expert problem solver. His job is to make sure that the team is aligned around the important work that the team has to get done. What are we trying to achieve in this year, in this quarter? And everybody knows what they need to do, and his job is to engage them and empower them to figure things out for themselves and to activate them. So I said, okay, this afternoon, if you get a call, what I want you to do is I want you to turn it around. When they say, hey, Bob, what should I do? I want you to turn that around immediately and say, what do you think you should do? What might you do in this circumstance? Immediately begin teaching your team that you're not going to give them the answer. You're going to ask them to share with you their thoughts about the possible solution. We want to get to a place where everybody on your team owns their situation and owns their solution. And after a couple of times of you doing that with your team members, you're going to find that they're going to be calling you less because they're just going to know that you're going to ask them, well, what do you think you should do? And that's empowering, and it makes them more independent. And that's what you're trying to get to. You want to engage people, you want to empower them, and you want to activate them. So he tried that, and at the end of the day, he said, I had 2 calls this afternoon. I did step out, but I did what you suggested, and they had the right idea. And I said, okay, you don't need to call me then. You know what to do. Go do it. And so it worked for Bob. It'll work for you. Don't be the expert problem solver. Don't be the log jam. Activate your people. Help them own their situation and own their solution. Get out of the way.